Hello, this is Peter Murphy, President and CEO of the Illinois Association of Park Districts. Today, we are presenting another video as part of our Legends video series. One of the missions of IAPD is to recognize outstanding park, forest preserve, and conservation district board members throughout the state of Illinois. I hope the knowledge and insights these great leaders provide will inspire you to continue to make a positive impact at your agency and in your community. Please enjoy.
Hello, I'm Wayne Utterback, Director of Communications and Digital Content for the Illinois Association of Park Districts, and I'm pleased today to be joined by Wheeling Park District Commissioner Cheri Klumpp for our IAPD Legends video series. Cheri, thank you so much for joining me today.
You're entirely welcome.
Now, can you tell me just a quick little brief background about how long you've been with the Wheeling Park District?
I moved to Illinois in 1986, and a couple of years later I became an employee of the Wheeling Park District, and there was an opening with the as a commissioner. A couple of people had asked me if I'd be interested, and backing up a second, being part of the Park District, it was a way to meet people, and it's been a wonderful ride ever since.
And how many years have you been with the Park District?
I was an employee for 2 years, and then in 1993 I was appointed Park District Commissioner, and then subsequent elections have been in, so a little over 27 years.
All right, and how would you describe your experience with the Park District over those years?
99.94% has been awesome. You know, not everything has always been real easy, but it was a great way to get involved and to be able to give back to my community, but also take from my community.
Now, you'd mentioned part of your motivation was to meet people. What else? Did you have any other motivating factors in becoming a commissioner?
No, when I was asked by a couple of former employees if I'd be interested, I just laughed. You know, it sounded political. It sounded just out of my ball game, and I'm really glad that I went through the process. I'm really glad for all the years that have happened since.
Now, what keeps you engaged and involved today?
Things change. People's change, ideas change, procedures change, events in a community or in the state or in the government changes, and I like being a part of that listening board and making decisions. I don't want to use the word power because that's a silly word when you're sitting behind a table at a board, but I like what happens in the parks.
Do you like being able to kind of have a say in maybe helping direct things to happen and come to fruition?
I do. I like to look at different sides of whatever issue, whatever story. If somebody wants a dog park and somebody else doesn't, I like finding that happy ground where we collectively as a board and as a staff can decide what might be best for our community.
Now, I know there are many you mentioned some challenges. For new commissioners, what would you give them in terms of advice for stepping into that role and really flourishing in that role?
First off, you don't know everything coming in. Second off, give yourself time to learn. You're learning a new culture. And I don't mean ethnicity culture. It's a different thing going into it. Give yourself time to ask questions. Give yourself time to be involved. Go to the different events or classes that your park may have. Walk around the track if there's a track. Go swimming. Talk to people. And there's a little bit of eavesdropping going on in there too, because when you're in a group and you are standing there and somebody is telling a story, whether it's good or not so good, you can learn a lot, and you don't have to. It's like being a mom. You listen to your kids' friends talk and they totally forget that you're there, but you can learn so much. And if there's a situation or a wish, a desire to have something, that could put something into my ear that I can share with my fellow people.
Is there anything in particular that you would tell a new commissioner that they need to learn, that they need to have knowledge of already before they step into that role?
Be prepared to think for yourself. Don't go along with what everybody else does or says, because that's what you do. You have to think for yourself. You have to be independent, yet at the same time cohesive. You kind of that united front idea.
Now, kind of going a little deeper on that, what's a philosophy that you would suggest to any commissioner just to be successful?
Do the best you can. Listen to sides, if there are. Know that there's usually two sides or more, and most people say there's usually more than two sides, and then there's the truth. Just listen. Just be open and don't be closed-minded.
Now, thinking about the staff of the Park District, the Wheeling Park District, what are some attributes you've seen in those staff members who are really just excellent at their jobs and at what they do?
They share that excellence with other people, be it the community participants, be it other staff members. Within the Park District, we hire a lot of part-time people that may start a position at age 16, 17, and they may go into Parks and Recs as a profession, they may not. But the experienced leadership tend to share and allow other people to grow. And I think that a lot of the things that a 17-year-old kid working at a pool for a summer and maybe the next summer and the next summer learn is they have to be to work on time, they have to be held accountable, and just the life skills that they learn, and that goes on the rest of their life. It's not something that can be taken away. And being the park districts or any kind of rec or whatever can give them that first job, give them that opportunity to figure it out what they want to do when they grow up.
I've really seen with Parks and Recreation, it's a world where you really can grow from the bottom to the top just by being passionate and really investing yourself in the work of Parks and Recreation. Is that something that you've seen?
Oh yeah, and when I come to conference, because I'm being interviewed at conference, you see people that may have worked at the Wheeling Park District years ago, and you see where they've gone to other districts. And if we've kind of done our job right, we let people grow, and when they leave, hopefully it's for the right reason, and they go on and continue. So by seeing so many people that did start younger and they stayed in the field, and they go from that pool attendant to the executive director, and that's pretty exciting seeing that happen.
Now, shifting just a little bit, we talked about challenges just briefly, but when it comes to today's park system, what are some challenges that you've seen, and what are some ways that people can actively work to resolve those problems?
Giving people everything that everyone wants. It's kind of like going into the candy store and you want a piece of everything, but realistically you can't. And so you pick the programming, you pick the facility, you pick whatever it is, and you try to make those decisions for the majority. And the challenge is you'll have people, well, we didn't get a dog park, or we didn't get this, but you got this, and I'm never ever going to use that. So, you have to kind of play and figure out what's best for all.
Now, are there any potential opportunities out there that you see that are things that you might be able to leverage to help better serve your community?
Getting people involved in using their park district, whether it's a free concert in the park, whether it's a class, whether it's just going for a walk around the park, getting people outside. Inside programs are good too, but in this day of all the technology and people so busy, they kind of forget to use the old motto of the park district from years ago, take time for fun, because I think that when you take time for fun, it helps give you that energy to do some of the things that aren't so much fun.
Now, you mentioned we're at conference. We're at the Soaring to Heights conference right now. What are some of the benefits of a commissioner getting involved with IAPD?
Primarily the educational opportunities. When you're sitting on a board like I am, and you see your day-to-day maybe, or your week-to-week, or meeting-to-meeting, when you come to things like conferences, you attend sessions, you meet people, you hear different ways that things are being done elsewhere. And you don't get that, I don't get that from a book. I get it from listening to other people, how they've lived the life, how they've developed a program, whether it's music, whether it's inclusionary playgrounds, whatever the subject is. And so IAPD, for me, that's been awesome part of my, not career, but my, sitting on the board. And then just their help in anything. If you are looking for a new director or you're looking for employees, they're a really good sounding board to help with that process and put the word out that such and such a park district needs something and how can we help. And they've always been very encouraging, and the outings that they do for legislators and the involvement that is in Springfield and also on a national level, it's just phenomenal, which is why Illinois has a pretty unique park system, different than other parts of the world.
Now, what would you say your own personal experience has been with IAPD?
It's been great. I've gotten to know people over the years. They know me. I'm not just a face or just a name or a number, and they really seem to care about everyone they come into contact with.
How important is that networking aspect? Say coming to conference or just going to any event in general. How important is it to reach out to your peers?
I think the main thing would be growth. You don't know everything. You can't possibly know everything, and by being at conference, like you're interviewing me, someday I interview somebody else. You've maybe taught me some skills that I didn't have, and that relates to other classes, other sessions also.
Now, looking back at your time at the Wheeling Park District, how would you like for people to remember you?
That I was fair, that I was nice, that I like to think I was a listener. I know, not was, because I'm still here, folks. That I am not, I'm a person who stays true to what I've said I will do or not do. And I like to think that people will say, yeah, she was okay. And we both know 10 years from when I'm not around anymore, not many people will recognize the name Cheri Klumpp. It's the nature of the beast.
Now, looking back on your service, what would you consider to be your major contribution to the field of parks and recreation?
I laugh a lot, and and I like to think that being a part of all the different facilities, all the different opportunities, that's really important to me.
Do you ever really reflect on just the number of people lives you might have touched just by your work?
Sometimes. It's kind of fun when you see kids that maybe knew you when they were 10 and you're still that park lady. There was a special needs child that went to school with my son many years ago, and all these years later I still run into him and his parents, and whether it's at a parade, whether it's wherever, and he comes running up to me with a hug and a kiss and, oh, it's the park lady. I have no idea if he knows what my name is, but it's so fun because he's now early 30s, probably 29, 30 years old.
It's amazing to make those connections.
It is.
And like they last for decades.
Right.
That's
right.
fantastic.
Right.
What's the best advice you've ever been given?
Do the best you can and be yourself. And at the end of the day, when you look in the mirror at the end of the day and you look at yourself, be okay with yourself. You can't be all for everybody, but you can be true to yourself.
Now, what would be advice that you'd give a 20-year-old?
Be adventuresome. Don't be afraid to do different things. Don't be afraid to hear the word no. And don't be afraid to hear the word yes, and just do what you can to learn. And whether that's book learning or schools or life, go camping, go to the movies, go to a theater. Don't hide yourself, and don't hide yourself with technology.
Are there any historical figures that might inspire your work?
This is kind of corny because we don't have one right close to us, but President Roosevelt and his team of people that started the national parks thing, that I'm stuck for a word there, but for all the national parks we have, they had a vision. And when you go to these parks, and whether it's a national one or just your community little tot lot, it's important. And for people trying to take those things away sometimes and stop funding for those things, they're important. They bring much joy. So historically, I mean, there's a lot of really good historical people, but I'm talking Parks and Rec, so I had to do that one.
I've had other commissioners tell me Roosevelt as well.
Okay.
So it's a fantastic answer.
Yeah.
It fits very well. What do you see as the benefits of park and recreation services? And more specifically, what are some of those benefits that the Wheeling Park District offers its community?
Trying to bring in different things. The senior component, I guess people of all ages, people of all abilities. We are getting more involved with NWSRA, which is a special rec association. We're getting more involved with the senior or active 55, whatever you want to call it, population, and the multi-generational ability. It's not having one age only in one facility. The rec center has recently been done, so the fitness center is one of the projects that has been redone, and it's phenomenal to see the numbers of people are coming in. And granted, it's right after Christmas, so maybe more people are coming, but the comments of people that they're feeling better, whether it's weight loss, whether it's just getting out and seeing people, it can become kind of like a social setting for many people, and especially people that live alone and may not have family.
One of the things I really love about the Parks and Recreation field is just how it brings everyone together. I mean, it doesn't matter your monetary level, your ethnicity, your needs. Everyone can coexist within this bubble. How important do you think that is to a park district to be able to offer something for everyone?
Well, you certainly don't have cliques of people only doing the same thing with the same people, and the variety. I mean, to see a rock and roll concert, little kids at a rock concert, as well as older people bringing their chairs and out for a nice summer evening. It brings people together, and if there's a smile that comes to somebody for seeing something fun that happened, like two older people walking hand in hand, or it brings joy.
Absolutely. Now, here's a fun question. Here's a question I really do love to ask. If funds were unlimited, what would you like to see done for the Wheeling Park District?
I would tend to think I would say a facility or a program, but what I would like to see is there's a lot of people in the community and in the world who can't afford to do an art class, can't afford to play football on a program kind of play. I would love to be able to say everything's free, come on in, let's play, let's do whatever you want, and that's not realistic. And back to if I were to build a facility kind of thing, just be smart with what you come up with, make sure it's something that you think a lot of people would want. Don't do it just for the sake of a couple people wanting something and the funds are available. Spend your money wisely, build well, play well, and hope that people come out and do what you're offering them.
What is your vision for the future of Parks and Recreation in Illinois?
Continue the good fight. Continue to get people outside, inside, get them to do things. Again, let them play, not again because I haven't said it, but to play well in the sandbox, to get out and just do the best you can and have a good life.
All right. Well, Cheri, thank you so
You're
much
welcome.
for your time. It's been fantastic. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to talk with me, and keep doing the amazing work that you do.
And Wayne, thank you so much for the interviewing, and happy conference.
Happy conference. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This interview was part of the Illinois Association of Park Districts Legends video series. For more interviews, please visit us at our content-rich website at ilparks.org/legends. Also, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram for all the latest videos, resources, events, and more. Thank you so much for watching.